This is Jonathan Buckley, public speaking teacher at Edina High School, and today's lesson is the communication model individual activity. The objective for this is that students will individually practice creating communication scenarios and identify the elements of the communication process. All right, let's get started. So, now that we've talked about the communication process, which consists of a sender sending a message to a receiver, and a receiver providing feedback, and that within that cyclical process, noise or interference can occur, what I would like you to do is I'd like you to write 2 communication scenarios, 1 paragraph each. And after writing the communication scenario, I'd like you to use the model of communication to label the sender, the message, the receiver, the feedback, and any noise. Alright, so I've provided an example for you to get you started. So the first scenario is this, and I wrote it out. During a game versus the Vikings in the Metrodome, Brett Favre tells Donald Driver to run a certain route. Driver has trouble hearing the play because of the crowd and asks Favre to repeat it. He yells louder, and Driver nods his head to indicate he understands. Favre takes the snap and fires a touchdown pass to Driver, beating the Vikings. Go Pack! Alright, so there's your communication model activity. And then if we were going to break it down, after writing that paragraph here, if we're going to break it down, the sender would be Brett Favre. The message would be the route that Driver is supposed to run. And that's what Favre is telling Driver. So the receiver is Donald Driver, who incidentally is a wide receiver. And then Driver gives feedback asking Favre to repeat the play because Driver can't hear it. So Favre then repeats the play again. See the cyclical process we've got going on here? Repeating what the route is that Driver is supposed to run. And then Driver nods his head, so a nonverbal message saying that he understands. Meanwhile, we have the noise over here that's getting in the way of each of the messages, but in the case of the nonverbal one, Driver was able to communicate that he understood. So there what we've done is we've taken this communication scenario and we have now put it into the communication model. And so that's what I would like you to do 2 other times. So you can see I have a communication scenario number 1 here that you would write out your communication scenario, and it can be any communication scenario. It could be something that takes place in school, with your family, your friends. It can be real, it can be made up, whatever you want. And then after you do that, you'll then label each of the elements of the communication process here. And then you'll do that again for communication scenario number 2, and then label those elements. So that's the assignment that I would like you to work on. I'd like to remind you that this is an individual assignment, not something that you should be doing with anyone else. We'll be getting to that point with our next assignment.